Back in the year 2021, the original Sonic movie was nominated for Best Superhero Movie in the Critics' Choice Awards. Now, I'm not opposed to the Sonic movie winning any awards because I love the movie and I think it deserves all the praise that it gets. But with that being said, I've never at one time considered Sonic the Hedgehog as a superhero. Now, if Sega wanted to say that Sonic was in fact a superhero, it would make sense considering he does meet the criteria of being one, having superpowers and also being a hero. But I never once thought of Sonic in that way. I just thought he was a video game character who just so happened to be a hero at the same time, not really a superhero. However, there actually was a time where Sonic was considered a superhero, even if it was not in the main canon. Early in the year 1992, a Sonic the Hedgehog manga was released by Sango Morimoto, and it actually consisted of things that were kind of different from what the series initially entailed. And when I say kind of different, I mean really different. I mean, of course, there was a lot of things that stayed kind of in line with what was going on in the original series, but there was a lot of things that also strayed away from what they were doing in the games. Admittedly, it was a rather loose adaptation, but still an enjoyable one nonetheless. This adaptation was in the form of a Japanese manga published by Shogakukan, and it was titled Sonic the Hedgehog. The manga only had a total of 17 chapters spanning from April 1992 to August 1993. So bearing in mind that the run was rather short and also it didn't really get a US translation until much later down the line, and even still it's very hard to find, this manga didn't really have a big impact on anybody in the fanbase, or anybody outside for that matter. But from what little I was able to gather from this manga series, I felt the burning desire to share this knowledge to everyone who was able to watch this video. However, unfortunately, the chapters are not even available everywhere like I said earlier, and even if they are available, they may not be translated in English, and I really can't do much with that information. But there is still quite a bit of information that's still available that I really want to discuss in this video. So without any further ado, let's get into the Sonic the Hedgehog manga. So before we go any further into explaining what happened in the manga, we need to talk about the main character, which is Sonic the Hedgehog, but also not Sonic the Hedgehog, as it's also a character known as Nicky, and Nicky is actually the alter ego of Sonic the Hedgehog, or vice versa. An easier way of thinking about it might be thinking about Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Peter Parker is the normal version and Spider-Man is the superhero, whereas Nicky might be seen as the normal version and Sonic is the superhero in this sense. However, something that's completely unlike anything I've ever seen before in a superhero comic or a series is the fact that Nicky is completely unaware of his alter ego, meaning he doesn't even know who Sonic the Hedgehog is. So throughout the series, he is completely unaware that he is Sonic the Hedgehog, which is a really interesting concept. But before we go any further and discuss Sonic the Hedgehog as a character in this series, I want to talk a bit about Nicky because this is actually a lot different than anything we've seen before. Now, Nicky is actually the polar opposite of what you expect from Sonic the Hedgehog. He's this shy character who's not really that strong and is completely afraid of almost everything. Nicky is this very nervous character who wants to fight the forces of evil but is afraid to do it because he doesn't believe in himself. However, because of Nicky's drive to do good, he all of a sudden transforms into Sonic the Hedgehog, who is able to execute all the actions that Nicky dreams of doing. He also is an aspiring musician who loves to play the violin, but isn't very good at it. That's the basic gist of everything you need to know about Nicky's personality, but now let's move on to his family. Yes, his family. Something that really is not addressed at all in the Sonic the Hedgehog series. Firstly, there's Nicky's mother Brenda, who loves her children and is very calm and patient with them. Then there's Nicky's father, Paulie, who is actually very courageous and strong, and it's a character that Nicky really does idolize because he wants to be just as strong as he is. Lastly in this family there is Tanya, or Anita, who is Sonic's younger sister. I would say Tanya acts a bit more like her father where she's more courageous, in that she can also be a bit reckless at sometimes. Outside of this four group of characters, there still is one other that's pretty prominent that is also still treated like family, and that is Amy Rose, who is Nicky's girlfriend. Even though Amy does love Nicky, she will not lie in saying that she also does care for Sonic quite a bit. She spends a bit of time daydreaming about Sonic and even gets overly excited when seeing him. And in case you were curious, Nicky does in fact get jealous about this, even though Amy still does remain loyal to him. There are other pretty important characters as well, such as Anton, who bullies Nicky a lot and has a big crush on Amy. There are also more popular characters that we'd actually recognize like Tails and Dr. Eggman, who make an appearance later in the series. When it comes to Dr. Eggman, he's quite a different character. You see, he actually wants to capture Sonic the Hedgehog and use him to take over the world, but like Sonic, he also has a alter ego, where he's also known as Dogman, a policeman of Hedgehog Town. There is one other interesting thing to note about Dr. Eggman that is completely unlike anything I've ever seen before in the Sonic the Hedgehog series, and that's the sheer fact that Eggman is actually not an innately evil character. In fact, it's his mustache that gives him the powers of diabolical evil and the desire to take over the world. The mustache has a mind of its own, and when it's shaved off, Eggman is a peaceful, kind person yet again. This manga also does feature Metal Sonic, but I didn't really get to see him in any of the English translations, so I don't really have a lot to go off of when it comes to his character. Now let's move on to talk a bit about Tails as a character in this comic, and actually he's quite the same as what we see in the games. He idolizes Sonic and looks for him relentlessly, trying to find him and help him out on his quest to take down Dr. Eggman and all forces of evil. However, when he was first introduced, this character seems completely unlike the Tails we know in the games. He's a character who wants to be cool and edgy and rude and disrespectful to Nikki, as he wears sunglasses and drives a sports car. However, as the series goes on, this kind of changes, and he actually is the only one who knows Nikki's true identity as being Sonic, and thus he continues to hang out with both of them, Nikki and Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic also has other friends like Little John, but also another character who's pretty surprising that I didn't expect to see in this series, Charmy B. He's portrayed similar to how he is in the games, where he's not afraid to stand up to Dr. Eggman, and also can be a bit annoying at some times. However, when it comes to his fighting style, he uses this thing called the Time Box, where he can rewind and manipulate time itself, something that also we don't see him do in any of the games. One thing I found really strange about this character in the comic is that he looks nothing like he does in the games, with a few very small similarities. When it comes to other characters that are also in this comic that are also in the games, they look pretty much one-to-one, but Charmy is just the one kind of outlier. Nonetheless, I found the whole concept of a time box as a rather interesting idea, and it was pretty cool to be honest with you. Either way, from what I've read, the stories generally tend to be pretty much the same in each chapter, whereas though Nikki and Amy are hanging out, or Nikki's hanging out with a family member, and they get kidnapped by Eggman or get bullied by Anton, and Nikki transforms into Sonic to prevent all of the negative actions from happening. If you're ever presented with the opportunity, I definitely recommend checking out these comics, even though they can be pretty hard to find. That said, what were all of your thoughts on this whole idea of Sonic the Hedgehog being a superhero in this sense, where Nikki transforms into Sonic and saves those he truly cares about, and also all of Hedgehog Town? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'd love to see what you guys have to say. But also, while you're at it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe on the video, and turn on the post notifications bell, that way you never miss an upload from me. You don't want to miss what I have to say. Now is also probably as good a time as any to shout out my legendary channel members. Thank you all again so much for supporting me and creating the best possible content that I can make. Videos like these would not be possible without you. I wake up every day praising the Lord for awesome people like you guys. Y'all are truly the best. Thank you very much. If you're interested in becoming a member of my channel, there'll be a link in the description down below. But anyway, thank you all again so much for watching. This is Sonicsta signing out. Have a super blessed day, y'all.
Why are you playing that trash?